go ahead and get right into it.
All right. How do you want to structure it? Do you just want to go do you want to use our lists or do you want to go
We'll go
wise
wise
picks
picks.
first?
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll
Okay.
do um our lists. My lists, I
Okay.
just I just kind of made them right now. Um, so
Okay.
but you seem like you had a lot on
Yeah.
there.
Mine
So
was,
um,
it was also
you
it was like maybe 3 minutes just right off the dome. So
yeah, that's what I did. Just a
crazy.
lot of bullet points,
Yeah.
and the only thing I don't really have is what I was right on, which is fine. Which I'm writing one right now.
So
Okay, we're live. We post on on Snapchat. And then let me get the wise picks document up, and then good to go.
sweet.
Alrighty. Where are you moving to, by the way?
Upper Marlboro.
Nice, nice. How's the packing going?
Not too bad. We started so early that our place has been kind of a mess for a couple weeks now, but we've avoided like the last minute crunch
Yeah,
for the most part. See how I feel Thursday,
nice.
but
Thursday's moving day.
Friday. Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, let's. I'm ready to start recording whenever. You good?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna put my water, but you can start.
All right. Let's get started in three, two, and one. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
The perfect fall weather's coming, Chris. I left work and it was like, oh, I'm not sweating in my pants. It's the sun's out still. The temperature is around, 70s. Exactly where it needs to be. Perfect post week one weather. We are the wise picks were complete on Saturday morning. Hopefully you guys got to see them, and we're gonna go right into it. NFL week one. We got things we learned. We got things we were right about. And we got overreactions because it's not week one without some overreactions. But first, we are going to start with our wise picks. Chris, let's start with your first one. The Browns plus 5.5 against the Bengals. This was we should have hammered thousands of dollars on this one.
I mean, it's a classic AFC North rock fight. Not a pretty win for the Bengals whatsoever, but I don't think anybody cared. Like if this was in November, I think there would be Bengal fans that were freaking out about how bad they looked, but they haven't won a week one game in what feels like Joe Burrow's time there. So I don't think they really cared. Yeah, I mean the Browns were competent defensively. Like Joe Flacco was a professional quarterback. threw a couple picks, but I don't think they were entirely his fault. It was not a great game to watch. And honestly, the Browns kind of soiled this game. Like they had a shot to win there. Kicker missed a short field goal, and then turned the ball over again at the end. So definitely a winnable game in Cleveland, but they Browns it up.
They did Browns it up. It was that kicker also missed an extra point that would have at least had the game tied at that moment with his last kick. He is he is what the worst last name for a kicker who misses something on week 1, right? Schmitz.
But
Yeah,
there's a lot of bad kicking,
SYMTZ.
a lot of bad kicking this week.
There was. And that's something you expect, like, you expect the offensive lines to look not gelled. You expect the wide receivers and the quarterbacks not to be on the same rhythm, but you don't really expect the
Hmm.
special teams to be as bad as they were this week. We saw a lot of even good
Yeah.
kickers miss big kicks. It was, it was strange. And, it's part of the week 1 woes. We'll get into a lot of them. And as to your point, the Browns defense looked better, I think, than people expected. Myles Garrett was all over the place. That hit on Joe Burrow, where Joe Burrow like
Brutal.
gets the ball out and he just completely smacks Joe Burrow on the ground. And Jamar Chase had a bad game. T. Higgins had a bad game. It was uh it was a scary Bengals win there for the Bengals. But
What's the stat that you sent me where they had like 8 yards in the second half or something like that?
yes, I believe I did send it to you. I'll see if I can pull it
Absurd.
up real quick. But, it was I think it was maybe max 17 would be my guess here. 7 total yards in the second half.
My gosh.
So, um, it was a
We're
it
literally
was
the best offense in football last year,
yep,
at least best passing defense.
and they will be better. They're not gonna have 7-yard
Yeah, they'll be
halves probably ever the rest of the season, even when they play the Browns again. But, you know, this shows you, I mean, I guess playing in the preseason did eventually end up helping because they
fine.
got the
Right.
victory, but they still didn't look on rhythm. They still started slow in a sense. And to your point on the Browns offense, they did look competent. They threw 15 passes to two rookies, Dylan Sampson and Harold Fannin. It was and then Joe Flacco, his turnovers, the two picks, you got to put it up to the Bengals defense because if this was last year's Bengals defense, they might get shredded this game and completely lose this by maybe 2 scores. So, having having those and the picks that they got weren't necessarily Joe Burrow or Joe Flacco's fault. It seemed like
Mhm.
most of them, actually the 2 of them, were just a wide receiver just bumped it up in the air, and it just fell into the lap of the Bengals. So, you gotta give your props to the Bengals defense as well because the Browns on any other situation seems like they were really moving the ball, and getting in positions where they could have won this game by a lot if they didn't blow it up. But, my my guy Demetrius Knight led the team in tackles for the Bengals, and, he's in consideration for Pepsi Rookie of the Week. He probably won't get it because it always goes an offensive guy, but he played well enough to be in the graphic, so shout out to him. Sadly, the otherwise pick for for this game, David Njoku, not the David Njoku he almost had it. I mean, he was 10 yards away,
It
but,
got close there at the end, yeah.
the work went to Fannin Jr., Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green, who smartly, I think, changed his, uniform number from 88 to 44, his college number, and instantly just gains points for me. Instantly gains points. Um, so Joe Flacco, I mean, if the bet was tight ends yards, we nail that in the
Yep.
bag. But he had that. I guess they like what Fannon's doing. Maybe we see a David Njoku's on the last year of his contract. He's been with the Browns for a long time. Maybe we see a trade with David Njoku later in the season to maybe like the Niners if George Kittle is out for a while. But for now, they're running with 2 of them, and they like Fannin a lot. So we'll see. Of course, they play the Ravens next week. They're probably going to get boat raced, and it probably won't look this competent on offense. But for now, correct decision starting Joe Flacco. The run game was non-existent, which is another plus for the Browns defense. I mean, their lead rusher, Dylan Sampson, 12 carries, 29 yards. That's just not good. He did have 64 yards in the through the air, which was actually pretty impressive. And honestly, one of those ones that's going to shock a lot of people. But they had the reports in training camp when they expected to have Judkins as well as Dylan Sampson that they might even change Sampson to wide receiver. So clearly they like his receiving game and they
Yeah.
trust his receiving game. Um, but so that was sad for the Wise picks, but we got the Browns win nonetheless. Um, we'll start off with my loss because it almost soiled the rest of the week for me. This loss, Miami plus 1.5. It was over at 115. It was over. We could talk about. I think everyone has heard the Colts stat where 7 drives, 7 points, or sorry, 7 drives, points on every one of those 7 drives. It was the first time that a Colts player has ever done that. Peyton Manning didn't do it. Aaron Luck didn't, or Andrew Luck didn't do it. And I mean, to be fair to to those stats and those great quarterbacks, they had a short field every time that they touched the ball. So Tua played abysmal. He had 2 interceptions and a fumble, and the fumble just it seemed like it just bounced right out of his hand. Everything that we said over the offseason about the Dolphins are true. Bad vibes all around, and I feel dumb for doing it, but put me in that position on Saturday again without seeing how the game went. I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. Daniel Jones did look. I mean, maybe he's rejuvenated. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, which was really funny. And he's the number one fantasy quarterback right now, or maybe not after Allen and Lamar. So he's probably three. But just who would have expected it? Insane game. Chris, you kind of called it. You almost had. You didn't want to dip your toe in, but you had it.
Oh, and I can't take a real victory lap because I didn't make it a pick, and I specifically said that I don't want my name tied to Daniel Jones. So I'm not allowed to take a victory lap. I will have integrity. Uh, it is included on the things that I was right about because I did say it. Um, yeah, like this game, I didn't have red zone on until probably 2 o'clock just because I was running around and just had the Commanders game on. By this time, I like sat down and had my 2 screens settled. I don't think I saw this game once.
No,
Like they had buried them already. It was just like I mean, I was tracking my fantasy and it was just like 7 or 3-0, 10-0, 17, and it's just like boom, 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 and then all of a sudden it's forget that there's even a game going on in Indianapolis. You know what's crazy though, and this is probably isn't the time to talk about week 2, but they're favored against the Pats next week.
Dolphins. Yes, yes. That'll be in my overreactions and the things that I learned. So
Got it.
that'll come up for sure. And Tyler
I don't
Warren.
feel good about how much I invested in Dolphins. I in one of my fantasy leagues, I have Achan and Tyreek Hill. I have Tyreek Hill in another one. I was just like, it's
I have
Tyreek
Tyreek
Hill.
Hill in a
Yeah,
league.
leave
Yeah.
back and yeah, even after 1 week, does not feel good.
No, and it's one of those. I mean, you just kept seeing him fall in the drafts. And you're like, I mean, come on. I think I have him
Yeah, what are we doing here?
in our bets. I think I had him that. I mean,
Yep,
I have a future on him that he gets a
they're
thousand
on there.
yards. So it's he needs to get there. We kind of need a trade to the Chiefs for Tyreek Hill. We kind of need that to happen. And
Yeah,
we did talk about the Chiefs already. So if and there's no worthy update whatsoever. They said they were taking it
except for the
day
Twitter doctors.
Twitter
I've heard
doctors.
like 3 weeks at least, with a 50% chance of re-injury once he comes back.
I heard that they're taking it day by day with Worthy and not day to day, day by day, and that they want
Got it.
a that they want to put a brace on him so he doesn't have to get surgery. The brace,
Yeah,
though, is one of those linebacker braces, if I'm not mistaken, that like hold your shoulder together. So like how is he gonna
well,
go
it's dislocated. Yeah,
yeah, so like how is he gonna go and catch the ball?
or take a hit.
or take a hit. I mean, he already was skinny and was worried about take. I mean, I was already worried about him taking a hit. Anyways, he happened to take the hit by his own teammate, but he, yeah, that it's not looking good for Worthy, who we both have in different leagues as well.
Yes.
But to give the Colts the credit, their defense was incredible. Maybe the Dolphins are a dumpster fire and can't get anything going. Maybe Tua's it's Tua. I mean, Tua, they were throwing around dead cap money by halftime, which is I think 79 million if they cut Tua at some point. So
They're not gonna.
no, they're not going to cut him. And it's funny enough, like they're not going to cut him. And I think like coming next year, he'll be a starting quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Um, just because I feel like that's how like I feel like he'll and still be on the Dolphins. So, anyways, Tyler Warren looked great. I had him as a in a player prop. I wish I took it as a wise pick. It was like 30 yards and he had it in like the second drive. And Michael Pittman, he actually looked really good. The off the he Daniel Jones was throwing it to a lot of people on the offense. So maybe if you do have Colts in your fantasy leagues, it's I had Michael Pittman on my bench, but maybe he gets a start in a week or two. We'll have to see. I do think there's a chance where this is the week one Saints of last year,
Yep.
and like they looked amazing. The offense looked great, and then things don't go their way next week where they're not having all these short fields. They're not having all these opportunities. But you know, you got to take the flowers of what they are right now. And Daniel Jones looked great, so props to him, honestly.
It is honestly, it is good for him for all the hate that he's gotten over the last 2 years. I probably felt pretty good just as a human.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we forget
Yeah.
these guys are humans.
Um, I'm gonna wait for your last pick until after the other two because the other two games sucked. All the 4 o'clock games sucked, and the game
They
that
were
you
all
had
close. They
was
just weren't good games.
yeah. Um, yeah, they were all close, but all sloppy. So I had the Niners. I was sweating so badly with the Niners because Jake Moody, who is now cut from the Niners, no longer a Niner, just kept missing every kick. One of them was blocked. The but he missed I think 2 field goals otherwise. Um, that was actually a miraculous game by the 49ers. Brock Purdy had 2 bad interceptions. The rest of the time, he looked pretty good. Christian McCaffrey had 31 touches, so I guess his calf's not worrisome. And everyone else on the team offensively is injured now. Apparently, Juwan Jennings is injured. Brock Purdy's injured. We saw George Kittle go out in the game, and he's on the IR for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So it's it's already the woes for the San Francisco 49ers.
They signed
But they
Kendrick Bourne. He's
Yep.
probably wide receiver too. Well,
Yep, they signed Kendrick Bourne. I'm surprised they didn't do that before week 1. He came from San Francisco, so he somewhat knows the Kyle Shanahan system. Seems like he's a perfect Niner there. The the thing about this game that I don't know if we cemented it enough. I mean, we kind of did cement it enough. Sam Darnold sucks.
yeah,
He completed 16 passes. 9 of them were to Jackson Smith and Jigba. So he's a Jackson Smith and Jigba merchant. Jackson Smith-Njigba had 124 yards of Sam Darnold's 150 passing yards. Neither of the
such a
running
good stat.
backs looked good, which stinks because I have Kenneth Walker in two. Charbonnet actually looked better every time he got a touch,
Did he
and
outtouch him?
he did outtouch him, at least on the ground. Kenneth Walker technically had one more catch, and so one more touch compared to Charbonnet. But It it was a rough looking offense for the Seattle Seahawks. The defense looked awesome though.
Yep.
The defense was really playing well, and almost like just to a shame that I mean not for San Francisco better like I was, but Sam Darnold they could drive down, win the game, or they could drive down, and if they get a touchdown, they could win the game. And Sam Darnold just fumbles it kind of on himself and then it just falls right to the ground. Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa picks it up. It was uh it was exactly what I was looking for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, this game kind of went like how we thought it might go, just grinded out game. I definitely thought the Seahawks would be able to run the ball a little bit more, but yeah, you kind of walk out of this game and you're not impressed with anybody that played offense aside from McCaffrey. And what was the 49ers, the third tight end
Oh,
who
that
caught
that
the touchdown
awesome
at the end
catch.
on that third and goal,
Tongans.
which was pretty awesome. Yeah,
Jake.
touches.
Jake Tonges.
His 4th year in the NFL, and I don't think he's first touchdown.
Yes, and I think these were his first 3 catches too, if I'm not mistaken. So, it was,
Love to see.
that catch though, in the end zone, over Witherspoon, he was triple team, so over, like, their best 3 defenders almost, just snags the ball
Yep,
in the air. You would have thought it was Kittle. You would have thought it was Rob Gronkowski. You would have thought it was Dallas Clark. Like, this guy just went up there and snagged that ball, and then, he dropped it and caught it in between his legs to secure the catch, just with 3 people on his back. Great game, or great game by him, and great game for Ricky Pearsall. He was moving down the field.
yeah,
He wasn't a slant guy. He wasn't a drag route guy. If you go and look at his routes, he's running down the field on almost every one of his routes. So he might become the deep threat receiver for them. Well, at this point, he's the only receiver for them.
he's the receiver.
Um, so this is I know you have Ricky in Dynasty. I don't know if you have him in any other leagues, but if you were able to snag him in fantasy football, you're looking good going the
Yep,
rest of the year. Unless we might see Mac Jones next week with Brock Purdy. I'm
that
rooting
would be
for
tough.
it. I want Mac Jones to play. Not even because
It's
like
against
I'm
the
hating on the
Saints,
Niners.
so
I just want to see him out there, and he actually has a great connection with Kendrick Bourne, so he might feed him coming next week. And then my last game, this was easy. I can't believe the third line was 3.5. It moved up to 4.5 right before Sunday, and I still bet it. Um, the Jacksonville Jaguars is the team I'm talking about. The Panthers, they scored 7 in the fourth quarter to get 10 points, but they looked abysmal. Bryce Young had 2 interceptions. He should have had a third. The third would have been a pick six, and it got called back by the referees. This game was also on weather delay for about 2 hours, it seemed like,
yep.
and I don't know if anyone switched it back on. I don't know unless you're a Jags or a Panthers fan, and if you're a Panthers fan, you probably didn't switch it back on either, but there was just it was gone for so long, and I remember just looking up and being like, "Oh, game's still delayed." Um, Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence had a couple bad missed passes. I think that the coach, um come on, how do I always Cohen,
I'm
Liam
telling you.
Cohen. Yep. He went in his press conference and he named all the passes that Trevor Lawrence should have completed to Brian Thomas Jr. So he's ready to get in the lab. He was like easy mistakes, easy fixes, and ready to suit them up. I think that you if you change those passes, of course Brian Thomas has a great day. Trevor Lawrence has a much better day than he did, and they they run away with this. So week 1 woes, they're gonna adjust. They figured out their running back rotation. It was Travis Etienne. It was just him bulldozing. He had one long like 70-yard touchdown run. Actually, it wasn't a touchdown, but 70-yard run that really boosted up his averages. But other than that, had 70 yards without that run. So still a solid game from him. And Tank Bigsby only got 5 carries. He's now traded to the Philadelphia
Shipped off.
Eagles. Yep. And so it's going to be split between ETN. They did play a lot of Tootin just out there. They didn't use him a lot, but he was out there. And then for some reason
Mm.
they like this LaQuint Allen guy, who is their third down running back apparently. And
I got one carry though, right?
yeah, he only got 1 carry. I don't it's he seems like, he's just a check down guy, which, they didn't even
Yeah.
check him down to him a lot, but he's just out there to, I guess, pass block and check down. Um, so I mean, Jags running backs didn't figure it out, and I think it was a three-headed like committee going into the season. It seems like it's Travis Etienne, and then if he goes down, it's Tootin. So
Yep.
good game from Brent Strange out of everybody. Um, Travis Hunter was all right. He missed the interception from Trevor Lawrence to it would have been to Travis Hunter, and that would have been his longest play of the day, and his best play of the day. But he played. I didn't see the snap, uh, like differential, but I know he played.
I think it's only 6 snaps on defense.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was under 10 snaps on
Wasn't a
defense
lot.
and a lot of snaps on offense. So good for fantasy. Uh, Not so much for the Shohei Ohtani out there. He did get a tackle though, so that's kind of cool. At least he got a tackle.
I
Um,
wonder if they're just, like, trying to work up his legs and his stamina, like, while he gets used to NFL speed.
yeah,
I feel like
probably
going in there right away and playing both sides full game would be a recipe for disaster as a rookie.
agreed. And I do think there's an like there's a world where a lot of people were saying like he'd play both sides a lot this year, and then come next year he's full time one or the other. Might be the opposite.
Mhm.
Might be full time wide
Yep.
receiver this year, only a couple dime packages for cornerback, and then they switch him to try to play full games both sides next year, which would still be insane, but would be fun. Would be cool to see. Um,
It is interesting 'cause I thought he's supposed to be a better corner than receiver.
yeah, yeah, because of the ball skills that he had. So it was like interception machine and stuff like that. But the the Bryce Young of it, did we there was some stats I saw today that were like, if you look at his ratings, like it wasn't that bad. But he looked just maybe not the worst quarterback out there on Sunday, but he looked like one of the worst quarterbacks out there on Sunday.
He was poopy for sure.
Yeah. And we've talked about it twice now. That was in the things that I shouldn't have said things that I learned. So we weren't like rah rah on Bryce Young, but we were iffy. He's not great. He's not great.
Yep.
He wasn't the guy that we saw at the end of the last season, and this should have been an easier defense to try to get his legs under him yet again. But we might be able to say this for every game. It's week one. We'll have to see the rest of the season takes us.
Bro.
All right, your last wise pick, which sadly, I mean, good for the audience, not the audience who bet, but was dead wrong. The under. 80 points, 81
Not even
points
close.
scored between these two. Unbelievable ending by the Buffalo Bills. Unbelievable start by the Baltimore Ravens. It was a classic Ravens coaching debacle at the end. And I think we need to start at the end because the rest of it doesn't like the front half of this game is all Ravens. It doesn't even matter. And would you would you have punted there in the fourth quarter, 4th and 2 on your own, let's say it was the 37, 40 at max?
It's it's so tough because obviously, like, looking back, it's so easy to say that they should have gone for it, but I still think they should have like, I do think that they should have gone for it. And really only for the reason of I would rather put the game on Lamar than put it on my defense
Yeah.
holding Josh Allen. Especially how that game was going. Like, you could just feel the momentum slipping away from the Ravens. They couldn't get a first down, they couldn't get a stop. Um, and, like, Lamar's the most difficult quarterback in the league to take down, and you just put the ball in his hands, give him a run pass option, and, like, I feel like you're getting that 70% of the time. Um, so yes, I do. Apparently he had cramps.
Yeah, I
Um,
that was ridiculous.
it's like telling me that for one play, like he can't suck it up and go get a first down. And they had a timeout that they could have called to like
Mhm.
give him a rest. So I think that's bogus. I think it's an excuse. And it's odd because I thought the Ravens were like a very heavy analytics driven decision making team. Um, and Harbaugh is usually, like, pretty open to that stuff. He listens to those guys, and I saw, like, ESPN's model had, I think, +8 in terms of win percentage for going for it there. I don't know what their model said. I'm sure it's better than ESPN's, but, like, analytics generally favors going for it. I don't know. Sure, too long didn't read. Yes, I think I would have gone for it there. But there were so many other things that, like, I mean, they just had to get one first down on, like, 3 drives in a row, and the play calling was ridiculous, and yeah, it was a meltdown, absolute meltdown.
I think the bigger travesty, of course, I mean, I think you go for it. Derrick Henry is your running back. He has 9.4 yards per carry this game. Nobody could stop him. You tell me he couldn't get 2 yards on that drive? And even if you fail and you miss that, the Bills go down, they score. They would have probably scored pretty quickly because the defense was getting shredded.
Yeah,
And And then, as you said, the game is on Lamar. Now you're the ones with the timeouts. The Bills are the ones with no timeouts. You control the destiny of the game on offense instead of the Bills driving all the way down with no timeouts and then kicking a field goal as time expires. And
yeah,
you like Lamar ran insane. Derrick Henry ran insane. I don't know why there isn't as you said, an RPO, a read option, something that could have gotten 2 yards there. But the earlier drives, after the Derrick Henry fumble, mistake me if I'm wrong, the Derrick Henry fumble happens, Buffalo scores, and it's 33 or 34 to 40, right?
38,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, 38 to 40. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because I forgot they didn't score a touchdown at the end. They kicked a field
Mm,
goal. So you're still up a score after that. It just seemed like they completely gave up on Derrick Henry after that. Like, do you think he's gonna fumble again? Like, that was an amazing play by Ed Oliver, and
yeah,
completely just poked the ball out from a guy that we never see fumble, and to trust him, to not trust him at the end of that game and that's how you end up losing. You don't trust your guys, you don't trust your players, and I mean, they had a weird game plan. They were only throwing to Zay Flowers. DeAndre Hopkins had that great catch and touchdown, and the rest of the offense was just Lamar and Derrick Henry. And then the last like 2 or 3 drives, it was like, let's get cute with it. Let's start doing some other
yep.
things that we haven't done all
They
game.
think they're too smart.
Mhm.
They overthink things, and
Yeah.
you have, like, I said this the other day to one of my friends that you have the 2 hardest players to tackle at their position in Lamar and Derrick Henry, and they're running jet sweeps when they need a first down to seal the game.
Yeah, and they're
Mind-boggling.
it is mind-boggling, and they're ending it to like, Zay Flowers had a great game when he was getting passed to downfield. Those those little end arounds with him, I mean, he's the smallest guy you have to tackle. It's the easiest guy for the Bills to tackle there. So,
Yeah,
it was, uh it was a crazy turn of events, a crazy Sunday Night Football game, and I mean, it seemed like everyone's chalking it. It's one of the best games in a long time, and might be the best game we see all season. So
might be.
yeah, so it is that was cool. That was a cool factor of it. We're not Ravens fans here, so it was funny to see them in the playoff setting do exactly what they do in the playoffs every time. I mean, this is I heard the fantasy football guys I listen to podcast. I'm stealing it directly from them. This is their worst loss since their last loss in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And funny enough, that was the last game that they just played. So
Yep.
it lessons not learned by the Ravens, and we'll see if they come up short here. Is Harbaugh on the hot seat? I mean, I feel like he doesn't deserve a hot seat, of course, yet. But if it comes to playoff time and this stuff keeps happening, eventually you got to make a culture change. You got to do something, right?
I guess. I don't know. I
The issue is
They
not
win
any
so many games every
yeah,
year, and, like
and there's not many coaches that are better than Harbaugh available.
right, like, there's definitely like, the devil you know versus the one you don't.
Mhm.
Like, you bring in a new coach and you know what you're gonna get. Um, I feel like those fans are spoiled, and they always complain about Harbaugh when him and Tomlin are, like, the longest tenured coaches in the NFL and
Mhm.
has won a Super Bowl and been to countless AFC championships, and they
I'd agree.
complain like he's the worst coach in the NFL.
I would agree, but these mistakes, man, they just keep coming up, keep rearing their ugly heads. Um, and we saw it way earlier than we normally do. But I guess this is they also lost to the Chiefs week 1 last year. Isaiah Likely's toe was out of bounds.
But
So,
again, and, like, the other thing about this game is if that ball, the Coleman ball, if that ball doesn't get tipped up in the air and he somehow comes down with it, or if Derrick Henry doesn't fumble, like, they win this game easily. So, like,
yeah,
there's definitely an element of randomness to it where they obviously shot themselves in the foot a couple times, but, like, Henry never fumbles, you said it, and that ball, like, that was a ridiculous touchdown that the Bills scored just to keep them on life support. So, you know.
those were our week 1 wise picks. We went 500. That's all right. We'll take that for week 1. And we're gonna go. Well, first, do you wanna talk about the Commanders or what we learned and everything?
I got one of them in here.
All right, so we'll just run through it. Um, we can go in any order. It's things that we learned, things that we write about, or overreactions for NFL Week 1. Chris, go ahead, start us off.
All right. Well, I will just start in the Commanders game. I have two things that I learned there. The first is that I think Russ is cooked, and I don't think that's an overreaction. Because I came into the season being like, I think there's a floor with Russell Wilson, and their defense is pretty frisky, like one of the best fronts in the NFL. Oh my gosh, that I mean, Malik Neighbors was throwing a temper tantrum on the sideline on multiple occasions. He completed less than half of his passes. Uh, I mean, he like they had maybe 2 drives where he looked okay. Like he had one really nice scramble. Um, a couple times where he let it loose. The one was just throwing it up to Neighbors though, and he made an awesome play on it. The most part, he looked terrible. And like they got pressure on him. And he is like by his stats one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL when there's pressure. And they were in that backfield a lot. I think Andrew Thomas not playing definitely did not help. But they were getting a lot of pressure up the middle, so I don't I don't think he would have looked much better. It was I mean, it wasn't a hard watch for me, but I it was a hard watch for anybody else to see him out there. I think we're getting Dart by like week 3 or 4, which I did not anticipate. I was definitely wrong about that.
Can
But yeah,
I
it sound I heard something that apparently Dable met with the owners to try to start Dart like now. I don't know if that was real or not, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I had that in things I
Plus, it's
was
probably
right
week
because I
okay.
had Russ in the ass category, and
Mhm.
boy does he stink. We
Yep.
might we might get him next week, Jackson Dart. So,
Well, they already committed to Russ, or you mean week 3?
oh, did they commit to Russ? I
I
didn't
think
see
so,
that.
yeah.
I heard it was they wouldn't commit to Russ.
That's what it was yesterday, but they have now.
Oh, Giants make their decision week 2, Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson. Uh yeah.
I mean, the fact that they're already, like, making a decision and it's week 2 is pretty unbelievable.
Well, they asked him basically after the game, they asked Dayball, like, "What are you gonna do?"
He's like,
Um,
"No, I don't know."
yeah, I know, that's such a bad like, such a hard question, like, the game just ended, like, let me relax a second, let me sleep on
It
it.
wasn't that bad, though, where it was, like, midway through the 3rd quarter, you're like, I mean, should they just do it now?
Why
Even
not
Jameis.
Jameis? I was gonna say, why not Jameis tomorrow or next week versus the Cowboys? I mean, he's gotta look, he's gotta at least throw it a little bit better than Russell did.
Yeah, yeah, it was a really poor offensive performance.
The thing that sticks out is that and this was like maybe the only time besides the Commanders touchdowns, of course, that were on red zone. So I didn't watch a lot of this game because I have Sunday ticket and it was blacked
Mm,
out. But the Giants, 4th and 1, or sorry, 1st and 1 at the goal line,
goal line,
and
yeah.
then they go all the way to
Really
4th and 1. They get they get a call to make it 4th and 1 or 1st and 1 again, and then they go all the way and kick a field goal because they couldn't muster up any points. And after that 1st and 1, it was the 1st and 1 the second time at the goal line. They do a bootleg, and Russell Wilson I mean, it's not his decision. This was just kind of bad coaching. He's thrown to an offensive lineman. That was the play.
So that was did you see the full clip of that play?
I don't think so.
So it's a trick play, and the Commanders defense sniffs it out pre-snap. Like, you can see the linebackers, I think it's Jordan McGee and Will Harris. You can see them, like, point to the lineman, say, "That guy is eligible." Harris runs from the top down to guard him, and then the bootleg happens, and he's covered, and Russ just has to throw it over his head. I feel like they had this play in their pocket all off season, like, just ready to call it at the goal line, and just boom, sniffed out right away.
They didn't even give it to Cam Spadabo is just sitting in the backfield all of those plays. I don't think he got
Dude,
one.
that guy's a psycho.
Yeah, he's
I don't know if you
crazy.
saw like with him in like Pass Pro.
Mm-mm.
He's just the CTE machine. And the one run that he had, I forget who it was, but he plowed into something. He's awesome. He's
Yeah,
we're gonna get a lot gotta do for sure.
it's a
He is
shame that
pretty
he
awesome.
has -3 rushing yards on his career so far. But
Yes.
they did not do him any favors with the chances that they gave him. It was always like from what I mean, you watched the game more than I did, but it seemed like his 2 carries were just right into the line every time.
Yeah, he bounced one of them outside. Um, yeah, it was mostly Tracy, a little bit of Singletary. He did not run the
Motor.
ball well at all. Motor was fizzling for sure.
So your defense did well on Malik Neighbors for what it's worth. I mean, he got 12
Yeah,
targets, only
and
caught
yeah,
5.
he burned Igbenogany a couple times, and that's our 4th corner.
Yeah.
Like, Lattimore held him pretty well when Amos was on him. He strapped him up pretty well. Even hit the seatbelt once, which was awesome. But yeah, I mean, there were a couple plays where it's like, that's just Malik Neighbors, an all-pro receiver, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, it felt like none of they had no other guy out there with a pulse that
Mhm.
could catch a pass. And I like Darius Slayton. I'm like Wando Robinson's fine. I mean, those guys were just nowhere to be seen. I don't even know who their tight end is.
Oh, Bellinger or Theo Johnson was the guy who just did not catch that ball in the backfield at all.
Yes,
That was a funny play.
but he was about like there were two defenders coming
Yeah,
full
he's gonna
steam
get
ahead.
clapped.
Not gonna be a first down.
What,
Yeah,
so
defense definitely looked good. That was that was another thing that I learned. Um, I forgot about contract year Daron Payne,
nice.
how good he was before he got paid. And it's not technically a contract year, but it's his last year of guaranteed money. That dude looked like he had no guaranteed money left because he was flying around. He was harassing Russell Wilson. Um, and him and Kinlaw in the run game, man, like
That's what
those
Kinlaw's good
are
for.
large fellas.
Yeah,
Yeah. When Kinlaw, they would have him inside and outside. Um, he's just a massive human.
he is. He's a big fella.
And they like there were times where they were able to just rush 4 on 3rd down and get home very quickly, which was really encouraging to see. Again, it's tough because the Giants are so bad and their line was like it already stinks and their best player by far was out. So it's kind of tough to say like definitively they're going to be able to get after the passer and like they're going to shut down the run, but it was definitely encouraging.
The Commanders are in a tricky spot because they played maybe the worst team in the NFC, and then now they're gonna play on Thursday, maybe the best team in the NFC. So they have to hold their own, I think, in this game. It's not like a must win or anything, but they have to look competent and hold their own, especially defensively, before you guys write any conclusions to the defense this
Mhm.
year. All right, things that I learned. I'm gonna move this to this one's an overreaction. That's not bad. Some things
I have
I
more.
learned.
Do you want me to, do you want to alternate or do you want me to finish up?
No, no, let's alternate. Let's alternate.
Okay.
Unless are they
Okay.
more about the Commanders though, because we can we'll nail those
No,
one
no,
down.
no. Just other things that I learned around the league.
Yeah. I just learned that the the books. I mean, I know this, but I really solidified it. The books are out to get you, especially week one. They give you all these promos, all these free plays,
Oh,
and
is it
the
the Bet 365?
yeah, yeah, the Bet365. I mean that one I'm not even too mad about because I did put it on the Bears, but 50% the 50% profit boost, this is
Yep.
the
Yep.
no sweat
The no
bet,
sweat.
and then you gotta use it as no sweat the next day or else it's gonna expire. Um, and it's just they're just out to get you. They know what they're doing. It's the Sharks. They know exactly what they're doing, and they yeah, but that's an easy one. I should have seen that coming, especially week one. I mean, it's so unpredictable. So many low scoring. I think it's funny. You picked the under hit in every other game besides besides the game that everyone wanted the under, which was the Jets and Steelers. So the under
Yes.
went or the under went 11-2.
Those 2 games alone made up, like, for all of the other games. If you just did a total, like, all of the games combined over under, it would probably be pretty close to even because of those 2 games. Like, they went so far over.
And I don't know where to put this. You can help me with this. Is this something I learned or something that is an overreaction? Is that Justin Fields can throw. Justin Fields looks good.
So I had that on mine. I didn't go that far to say that he can throw, but I did say that they can move the football. Like, the running game was awesome. He was actually slinging it a little bit,
He was like moving
which
in the
was shocking,
pocket.
honestly shocking.
Yeah, making some adjustments in the pocket, stepping up into his throws. And then when he had to run, he had to run and it worked out for him. Uh it was a it was a surprising Jets game where they did lose in a Jets fashion, but
Yes.
it wasn't really off of like mistakes, at least not any glaring ones. And it was a back and forth game that I don't think they've scored. I would love to hear the bet or the stat of when they scored 32 points in the first game again, but I don't think it was any time recently.
Hey, there is part of me that thinks that this is the Saints from last year, but kind of on both sides.
Hmm.
Like, I just don't think the Jets are that good of an offense, but they're I do feel a lot more confident in them moving forward, that this is gonna be an offense that can actually move the ball. Um, but I don't think the Steelers are gonna put up 30 points every week either.
Yeah, the Rogers looked spry. He looked old. I mean, he didn't look old. He looked like prime Rogers. They can't run the football at all though, and that's going to be their demise.
Uh-oh.
It's they got to they got to start using Caleb Johnson. It was weird like going into the season, they drafted him, seemed like all right, this is going to be the guy, and then about a month ago, it was like, yeah, we're just not going to really use him. And
Yeah, we like Kenneth Gainwell.
yeah, they like Kenneth Gainwell. They like Jalen Warren clearly, and they're just not going to be the starting running backs by the end of the season. Um,
Yeah.
they need to eventually have Caleb Johnson be in there, and even if it's like have it be Najee Harris, where you're just going to run him 15 times and see what he does. Like even if he doesn't look great, um, DK Metcalf actually looked good on the Steelers. And we got a Ben Skoranek touchdown, which was
Yeah.
shocking. Forgot he was on the Steelers. We saw a lot of Jonnu Smith, like weird jet screens. I think that was his touchdown. Not a lot of yards per catch, but he got a lot of targets. He led the team in catches. And yeah, weird offense. Very Arthur Smithy. I mean, you could tell his foot,
Oh, yeah.
his fingerprints were all over that offense. All right, you want to go with another one?
Yep. So yeah, I had that one about the Jets, and my last one is Christian McCaffrey's healthy. You
Yeah,
mentioned
he
it
is.
earlier, but he had what 31 touches.
Hmm.
Was I saw somebody did a ranking of like guys with the most expected fantasy points this past Sunday, and he was number one. Um,
By like 11
I mean, he's
points.
basically yeah, he's basically going to be their whole offense with all of the injuries that they have. Um, who knows if Mac Jones starts and gets hurt, he might be their quarterback next week. What we've seen, what we've seen before. But in all seriousness, like he looked like Christian McCaffrey. They fed him the rock. He's fine, and I think that's good news for everybody.
It was 3rd and 18 at one point, and they're like, "Oh, just give it to Christian McCaffrey." Uh, yeah, they completely utilized Chris McCaffrey in the fullest capacity. The He looked good too. He looked like he didn't miss Friday practice for the calf injury, and
Mhm.
I think we just gotta blindly. I mean, I have him in a 2 leagues. I think I'm just gonna blindly start him. I don't care what the news looks like during the week. Until that big O comes out, then I'm not gonna worry
So he's
about it.
on a plane to Europe
Yeah,
to get his ankle looked at.
the thing that I was right about, the Texans' offensive line.
Oh man, I had that too.
Woof, bad.
Yeah,
They played a good D line, and they were in that game because it seemed like both of the lines were pretty shaky,
that game was
but
gross.
it was disgusting. They couldn't run
Every
the
time they showed
ball,
it on red zone, it was like another fumble or an interception or down stop.
or Puka Nacua was
Just
bleeding out of the head. It was a it was a rough game, especially for Nico Collins, who ended with 3 catches for 25 yards.
Forbes. Forbes is cornerback too on the Rams. He's on Nico a lot.
I forgot. I knew he was on the Rams. I didn't realize he was cornerback
Yep.
too in that game.
Yeah.
Good for Forbes.
We've
Um,
seen this before though, where he plays good the first couple weeks of the season. But against Nico, like, I mean, you're not gonna draw a lot tougher matchups.
that's true. They Puka Nacua, I think he left maybe 3 or 4 times of the game, just kept going back in, kept getting great catches. Devontae Adams looked good. The the split between them is a lot less even than I thought it would be, but I
Yeah.
think that's preferred to what they want to do. Stafford actually looked good out there, and it's funny because like you look
He was
at
the number one quarterback on PFF,
yeah, nice,
for what it's worth.
yeah. Um, the You would look at the box score of this and think that they won by like 15. They only won by
Mhm.
5. Um, so the defense is that good for the Houston Texans. They are able to keep them in games. It's just the offensive line is quite abysmal, and the run game is, I wouldn't say non-existent, but it's pretty damn near close. I mean, it was a
It's
lot of Nick
just like
Chubb.
it's a hard offense to watch, and I just don't see it getting much better. And you're right, like that's a tough defense, especially up front that they face. But yeah, when our thoughts before the season are just confirmed, especially when a team is bad, it's like, yeah, we're kind of worried about their offensive line, and then in week one, their offensive line just looks like dog water. We're like, yeah, this is not good. This is not good at all.
No, I think their most recent draft pick was one of the worst graded offensive linemen too, for what it's worth. Um, they're just throwing, and it's funny because like after Nico Collins, I don't know if Christian Kirk was a healthy scratch or something, or if he was injured, but they were just throwing to a bunch of guys. We saw Xavier Hutchinson, we saw Jaden Higgins, Justin Watson's on this team, Um, they're just kind of tossing it to anybody that's open, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of drag routes because Stroud is getting hit in the face, and it's a shame because I think Stroud's good. I think this defense is really good, and I think Nico Collins is amazing. So having this bad of an offensive line is really gonna, and no presence of a scary run game is really gonna hurt them in in this season.
It's also tough when, like, it takes at least probably 2 years to build up an offensive line, and they've moved backwards.
Every year.
So, it's not like yeah, you can't just, like, quick fix an offensive line, like, it's 5 guys, and all of their guys are mediocre or bad. So,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
tough.
I mean, I it just confirmed for me that they're like, this team is not sniffing a Super Bowl,
Nope.
whereas last year they were kinda like the sleeper, like, maybe.
Jags division.
Um, there you go, yeah.
All right. What else you
Uh,
got? What else you
all of
want?
my 3 the 3 things that I got right that I have left are all games that we talked about, but I'll say them anyway. The Colts, better than we thought. Oh, and I forgot can't believe I forgot to bring this up. But Indiana Jones,
Great
that's the
nickname.
new nickname
Yeah.
for
Hey,
Daniel
great.
Jones.
Great
Like,
nickname.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a floor with Daniel Jones compared to Anthony Richardson. He's not gonna look like that probably at all the rest of the season, but they're not, like, the worst team in the NFL. Um, Other quarterback is Bryce Young that maybe people got too excited about and forgot that the body of work was pretty horrendous. And then after Andy Dalton got hit by a car, he remembered how to play football. But they're so like they are so bad. I feel
Yeah,
like we
they're
underrated how bad they were going to be this year.
I think we
I
did.
think just because the Bryce Young hype, and then they like traded their like they traded Thielen and Coker got hurt, and all of a sudden they have no receivers. They don't have a defense. Not a good situation. It just feels like they haven't gotten better in like 6 years.
Yeah, it's a shame. I think if you're a Panthers fan, it's really it's not I wouldn't say heartbreaking because you probably expected it. And you were probably I think if you were a Panthers fan and you were at a bar or whatever or listening to us saying like maybe Bryce Young has some in it, you're probably like he doesn't. Like you were probably weren't on the like you probably were a little bit hopeful of it, but you weren't
Mhm,
on like the yeah, that second half was really something. It was
mhm.
it they look bad. They look really bad.
Yeah, unfortunate.
What's the last one?
Last one about the Browns defense. They still have guys.
Oh
They're
yeah.
gonna be they're gonna be decent this year. Like they are
Mhm.
competent. Um, the offense, I'd imagine, will trend in a negative direction, and we'll get a quarterback switch at some point. But as far as defensively, like they're gonna be okay, and they're gonna stay in games. Like I don't think they'll get blown out as much as they did last year. Um, Honestly, maybe
Plus
just because there's no Watson and like they kind of have something to play for. 'Cause I think that's why they were so bad, like defensively last year.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, like they're all right.
Plus 12.5 versus the Ravens. I don't think I
I
have the
saw
balls to
10 and
do
a half
it.
like this morning.
Oh, that was the opening. That was the opening. It seems like on all the big ones it's 11.5. So like FanDuel it's
Okay,
11.5. ESPN has 10.5. DraftKings is 11.5.
got it.
I don't think I'm brave enough to do it. But
I mean, this is a classic Ravens like ETA game,
mhm,
you know,
yeah.
early
And they're
season
at
week
home.
2. Yeah,
All right. Um I'm gonna go I'm gonna go with the ones not on the Patriots and then go with the ones on the Patriots because I have a couple. Overreaction is that the Lions can't move the ball.
It's-
That's
I said lines are cooked without Ben Johnson. Did
yeah.
you see the Jared Goff stat?
Yes, I saw the Jared Goff stat.
That
Oh,
he's
oh, and
yeah,
19 and 1 without Ben Johnson or Sean McVay as
or
his
McVay. Yeah, that's a tough
coordinators.
stat. I wish that I was aware of that stat before the season started when I tried to say that I didn't care that Ben Johnson had left. That's a crazy stat. 19, like the fact that there's not even one win in there.
Well, and it's funny, like he didn't like he missed only 8 passes. He had 225 passing yards. Did have an interception, but like they just couldn't complete drives. Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 catches for 31 receiving yards. That is the lowest in NFL history now. Broke Alvin Kamara's uh, 13 for 37 game. It is it's just bad. I mean, they couldn't get Amon-Ra the ball. Um, the run game looked much worse than it did last year. I think we also underrated that they lost a lot of linemen. I think
Yeah,
that's a big thing because they could not
and
establish
they
the
were
run.
outside.
They were out.
Jared
Yeah,
Goff. They're not an
yeah.
off or an outside team.
They had that one late touchdown to make it 13-27, but it was
Yeah.
uh it was a it was a Packers beating the whole time. It wasn't
Yep.
close.
Yeah. They jump on him right away and just lay down the hammer.
The Packers looked good. I mean, and this is I said this I think last week, and I might have like even ran through all the teams that did it, but good teams run the football. Josh Jacobs, 19 carries. That's what good teams do.
I didn't even have many yards either.
No, and it doesn't matter. That's you just like 3.5 yards per carry. That's fine. Give him 15, 20 carries. Like
Well, they're also up at the beginning of the game, which makes it a lot easier to run the ball.
that's true. That is true. But like teams will go down by 7 and just throw out the run game.
Yeah,
Go down
no,
by
I
10 and
hear
just
you. It's
throw out the
infuriating.
run game. Um, Jordan Love passed it all over the yard. He passed it to a bunch of different receivers. A lot of them got multiple catches. Um, nobody had a nobody had a like big game on the receiving side, but they did what they needed to do, and defense looked good. Like Parsons looked good, even on the times that he didn't get a sack. Was affecting the play and really causing some pressure. So the teams, we'll get to see them Thursday. So I don't think we need to do too much on them, but it was a good look from the Packers.
Can I just say that Romeo Dobbs looks ridiculous in the Guardian cap?
I
I don't say
respect the
that
Guardian cap.
because, like, no, I do too. I don't want to say it because if it's preventing concussions, they should all be wearing it. That's my
Yeah,
take on it. And like the fact that they're not wearing it because it looks silly is kind of stupid. Man, he looks so stupid when he like that one deep route that he caught and he just like popped up and his head is just boom,
it's
and he's
that
celebrating, getting pats on the head.
it's
But
that
man, he
plus
just looks like Toad.
the shoulders. He's got the long
Yeah,
shoulders. They're the long shoulder, or like the long jersey, not cut jersey. And
yeah,
those
and
two
Peyton
combined,
Peyton Manning.
yeah, those two combined, he
Yeah,
really
looks
looks
like
like
a
Toad.
clown.
Speaking of, you said Toad. We should have mentioned this in the Steelers game. Did you see the Aaron Rodgers like little Mario jump after his last touchdown?
I did.
He went a wahoo! I was like, that's hilarious, bro.
Somebody said it was the Unk emote.
Yes, it was. It was. It was thousand
Oh,
percent the Unk emote.
oh, yeah.
Um, overreaction. Oh, Nix. Maybe I was
I
right.
I think we had the same ones on here. I said Bo Nix is awful. I
I
mean,
don't
that's
think.
like it's a terrible Titans team, and they're at home, and they got better offensively, and he just looked like dog crap.
Yeah, he looked really bad.
It's
He was
horrible.
keeping them in the game because the Titans, the only offense that they had was punt returns and turnovers. That was the only offense that
Yeah,
they could produce. And I do think, like, you look on the other side of the coin, and I was high on Cam Ward. He had a bad game,
he
but
was. Cam Ward was okay.
for what he
There
was
was a
facing,
lot there.
yeah, he was
Yeah,
facing a freaking unit. Like, it felt like a freight train was coming after him every time he
yeah.
dropped back.
And like some of the clips that I've seen of just throws that should have been caught, and it didn't seem like his pass catchers were helping him a whole lot.
No, I didn't think
He
so
like
either.
reamed out my guy Aya Manor for something. I forget what it was. I saw a TikTok about it.
I love that.
But
I love
did you
that he's
see the
reaming
clip
him
of
out.
his dad in the
No, I didn't see his
stands?
dad.
He like watch and he like stands up and he like takes off his hat. face face in the palm. It's very funny.
The worst play from him was when he ran backwards like 20 yards and kicked him out of field goal range. That was the worst play from him.
Rookie moment.
Yep, rookie moment. 'Cause, it's funny, that's what Shedeur Sanders did in the preseason and probably why he's not starting. It's like everyone thinks it's Madden where you could just drift backwards and just
Yeah, yeah.
then just still throw it the same way. Um, the running back split was interesting. RJ Harvey had a big 50-yard run, which really boosted his numbers, and J.K. Dobbins took the majority of it. Another good team just is running
Yeah.
the football. Um, Courtland Sutton was pretty quiet until about, like, was it the 4th quarter? Maybe it was halftime where he got that touchdown. And then he looked all right. But yeah, Bo Nix, this is what you don't want to see when your Bo Nix stock is up. And
Why they throw it 40 times?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they threw it 40 times. I do think that he will get better. I do think this Titans defense. Uh, Ethan commented it um, last time that the the Titans defense always is sneaky good, no matter how bad the roster looks.
They were terrible last year, I thought. Weren't they
It
like the worst defense against the run last year?
That might be true, but I guess maybe it was Vrabel times. Um,
That's right. Yeah, 'cause that is true. Like when Vrabel was there, um, it was like you'd play the name game and you wouldn't know anybody on the roster, and then they would just be a top 10 defense.
Shane in the comments right now, he has Bo Nix in every fantasy league that he's in. He is in 4, and he has Bo Nix in every one. He said Bo is going to throw some picks. It's bound to happen. He will bounce back. So we got a believer in the chat. I don't. It's an overreaction.
It's
I'm
an
not ready to.
overreaction, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ready to dump him. I mean, I was ready to dump him before the draft, so it's yeah, like I'm ready to. The trigger's load. The gun's loaded. I'm ready to pull the trigger whenever. Um, but he is yeah, it's an overreaction. He'll bounce back. He'll be all right. The um all right, wait, so you have more. I don't want to keep taking all yours. I didn't realize you had more. I thought
Oh,
you were just done.
first I'd like to say I looked it up, and the Titans were the 7th worst rushing defense last year in terms of yards. But hand up, they were the second best defense in terms of total yards allowed.
Sneaky good.
So sneaky good. Overreaction. Well, I guess the one that we already talked about is the Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL. I do think that's an overreaction. Although I kind of think Mike McDaniel is done.
Yeah, he's
If
cooked.
they weren't favored against the Patriots, I wouldn't think this is an overreaction. But that threw me off. What to
Should I
think?
get into it? All right, I'll get into it. It's a
Yes,
must
go for it.
win. It's a must win for the Pats. That's my overreaction for the
I think I
Pats.
agree.
It's a must win. Um
If you're wanting to make the playoffs, yeah, it's a must.
yeah. It's my what I learned for the Pats is they have to play the guys that they freaking brought in. They have to play Stephon Diggs, they have to play Henderson, and they have to play Kyle Williams, who they drafted and everyone loved the second they drafted, and then they played him like 4 snaps. We there's a lot of Matt Collins, which I guess they brought in, but I still don't know why they even brought him in. He played more than all those guys that I just named. Stevenson was the main running back. I hope that this is the last time that we see Stevenson as the main running back. He was awful, awful. And I've always been I think I've always just been like dumbing down my hatred for watching him play because he was just somewhat like he wasn't even a bright spot of a dark team. He was just like a flicker of a light. Like sometimes he'll have some good games, but watching him sucks. I don't want to watch him anymore. He can't pass block. He can't run. And even if he does get some runs, I know a fumble's coming. It didn't happen this game, but even if he gets like if the second he has a good game, he fumbles the ball and we lose the game. So it's he can't play anymore. We drafted Henderson. Everyone loved Henderson in the preseason. He was a national champion in Ohio State, like number one pass blocker in the draft. So why are we playing this guy who the fumble for it it was one of the sacks, or I don't know if it was a fumble or what it was, 'cause I just, like, blacked out. It was the Raiders got at Drake May, and it was Stevenson's fault. He just like taps him and then he runs out into open space for nothing. And it was it was a bad so there's a lot of overreactions on the Patriots Twitter. People are very nervous. I do think that this was a veteran-led team by the Raiders. Geno Smith threw it all over the yard. He had 360 passing yards. Genti,
He's a pro.
he is a pro. I think that was something I was wrong on. He's a pro, and I didn't put him in the ass. I don't think. I think I put him in Unk still got it, but he might be even better than that. So the I think the positives for the Pats is that their run defense looked good. Um, their their pass rush was existent. It was there. Um, their secondary looked bad without Christian Gonzalez. Um,
Mm.
and the overreaction is that they need to beat the Dolphins next week. If the Colts can score 38 or whatever and hold them to 8 points, they need to beat the Dolphins. I don't care that it's in Miami. I don't care that this is like Drake May's maybe 12th start. I do think Drake May looked good. There was a lot of people that were saying that he didn't look good. Yes, he missed some passes. We saw a lot of quarterbacks miss passes. And I think the more that I watched on Sunday, like of course I was disappointed during the game, but the more that I watched on Sunday, I was like, all right, Drake May is good. And he's
Mhm.
not a superstar. At least I like I'm not putting him in like franchise guy already, but he's a good starting quarterback in the NFL and he played well. Um they threw it 46 times. Can't throw it 46 times. I don't want to throw it
Mhm.
46 times. Um, let's keep that to let's keep that to 30 max, 35. I mean, there should be no reason why we're running the ball 15 times with our running backs. Um,
15. That was it.
yeah, between the two. It was okay. I guess there was a jet sweep from Douglas, so that's another one, and then there was a Gibson carry, which it was almost like he was in there by mistake, which it was 3 yards, so like it wasn't like a bad carry, but it was like why what are you doing here? Like all right. Um yeah, Henderson, we got like we drafted him to get 15 carries a game. We drafted him to get 15 carries a game. Ramondre with 7, fine, keep him with 7, but I want Stevenson or sorry, I want Henderson to get 15
Freudian slip.
carries. Yeah, that would yeah, for radio. It's just the Suns. It's the Suns at the end of their two names. I need Travion to to get 15 carries next week. Um and like there was a bunch of quotes after the game that was like, yeah, like we might like we should be using Henderson more and like this is what we can adjust. And
From
it was
who?
like,
The coaches said that?
yes, it was like Vrabel. And it was like, why didn't you see this at halftime? Um they're up by 3 at halftime. They went, like, non-existent in the 3rd quarter, and then they kicked another field goal. I mean, they missed a field goal as well, so it could have been 16-20, and it's 4th and 5. They're going for it. A false start happens, and then they just punt. And it was 4th and 10, I understand, but the game was basically over after they punted. Like, it was a done deal. And then they get they
Pardon my Jason. That's a rage punt.
a rage punt
My
by Vrabel. He said they
would
asked
roll.
the reporters like like Foresight's 2020, would you have punted again? And he was like, yeah, I would have punted. So he stands by it. The there was 3rd and 20 by the Patri or by the Raiders. The Patriots could get a massive stop here and really steal this game after it looked like the Raiders had it sealed. And they let it up. Let it up to Thornton, who looked good. That guy was I mean, he only had 2 catches, but his 2 catches were pretty nice. Um, and Brock Bowers, he looked amazing. Jacoby Myers was all over the place. It seemed like every time they needed someone open, there was someone open. Um, and then after Brock Bowers got hurt, it was just like Michael Mayer's just gonna step right in
Yep.
and take it. So, it was a week 1 game. I think a lot of people I expected to win. I wanted to win. But after watching it, I was like, all right, we should not have won that game. That wasn't one of those games that was like we could have had it. We should have had it. Um, there's a lot. Look, we got a lot of moving pieces on the offensive line. I think there's 4 new starters on the offensive line. So
Did
it
Campbell play?
Campbell
He ended up
played.
playing?
Yeah, Campbell played, and he looked good. He had that one pressure where Stevenson didn't help him at all, and it was on Max Crosby, and it led to a I'm not sure Drake May fumbled. Um, so that was like the yeah that was his fumble, and that was and the pick that he had was on his back foot. Probably just shouldn't have thrown it. He still looks like a rookie. Like he's missing passes on his first couple drives, but that's okay. Like I think that there's those are things that can get honed in and worked on.
Yep.
And it seems like a footwork problem. That's the that's the key.
The Fitzgerald eye test says.
That's what the Fitzgerald eye test says. It seems like a footwork problem, um, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, Jane Daniels
Coachable.
had yeah, definitely coach yeah, exactly. Coachable. They talked about it on Sunday Night Football. Josh Allen's throwing mechanics, how his shoulders were tilted and his foot was up. Um, and then now he's throwing it like the MVP of the league. So it's
Mhm.
possible to coach this and to get people behind it. I did learn though, Josh McDaniels, and I didn't even learn this. I knew this, but I wasn't like gonna say it out loud, so I wasn't right about it. Josh McDaniels is not a genius. You watch all these other young like offensive coordinators, and like I was like, oh, I'm excited to get Josh McDaniels back, and then like instantly I was not excited to get Josh McDaniels back. Um, he's running it like it's Tom Brady out there, and he needs to run it like it's Drake May and it's 2025. And we just had no
Yeah.
one open. We didn't have good plays in the right moments. Like they tried to get cute a couple times and it just didn't work. Um, so that that's gonna be if Josh McDaniels needs to sharpen up.
Yeah, he does seem like one of those guys where maybe the NFL has passed him by.
I
Like
think
I'm sure he's
so.
still a fine offensive coordinator, but it's such a different like the way the game is called is so different.
Yeah. No, and
Like
it's
yeah, and
it's
Brady has said it too. That like the stuff that these quarterbacks are running is so far like it's just not as advanced. Like the college game is impacting the NFL so much more now.
yeah. Yes. And they needed like it seems like if they don't win a lot of games and he's not here next year, they need to go get some young guru that's running a college team that is that's doing some crazy stuff out there. Like we need some shit like even the Commanders have. Like they have Cliff Kingsbury, and he's one of these. He's the USC guy that has all this experience with all these different quarterbacks and how he runs and how he just runs the plays, man. Like they just look slow out there,
I'd
and it
like to
looks
run
like
the
it's a
ball more for what it's worth. I didn't
fair
think we
enough.
ran enough,
It was a hard line that you guys had to go against, so that maybe that's why
but they ran it well, and they just didn't do it enough.
they
They were
the
also
pat.
facing second and 20 like every other drive. Sorry,
No, you're
stole
good.
your
You're good. You're
floor.
good. You're good. You're good. You're good. And the last thing I have about the Pats is what I was right about. I don't think I said it enough on the pod. I was right about it in just in life. Keyshawn Booty,
Yep.
number one wide receiver, baby.
What are you bidding on him this week in fantasy?
I'm not saying. I'm not gonna say
Over
this.
or under one third of your budget?
Is our budget 100 or 200?
100.
It's 100. I'm not gonna say.
Will you
uh,
get him?
I think I'll get him. I think a lot of people. It's funny. I do like he had this big game, but like I don't think anyone watched or really cared. Like I don't think it like
One, Quentin Johnson is sitting right there, so
yes, yeah. Way more people cared about Quentin Johnson. Where
yeah.
going into the 4 o'clock window, I don't know how it ended up. Quentin Johnson led the league in receiving, and
Yes.
then tied for two was CeeDee Lamb and Keyshawn Booty. Um,
Debo was next.
yeah,
Maybe fantasy points. I don't know if it was receiving yards, but
because he had that long touchdown, the rushing touchdown.
the run, yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's the thing. Booty didn't get in the end zone. The guy who did get in the end zone, Demario Douglas. Do you know his stat line? Do you want to guess his stat line?
Wasn't it like a catch for or 2 catches for -3 yards or something like that?
Yeah, it was 2 catches for -2 yards and a touchdown. Um, he ran for 4 yards, so I guess, like, on his day, he's positive, but it
Net
was,
2 yards.
yeah,
Touchdown.
net 2 yards and a touchdown.
Funny.
The touchdown was nice, but he Drake May missed him the most, like, throwing wise,
Mm,
missed him the most. Um, I wanna see Kyle Williams, he had 1 catch for 12 yards. Like, that's something that I mean, he's already getting down the field more than anyone else on his 1 catch. Um, it was great. Hunter Henry's just reliable target for Drake May.
yeah.
Diggs needs to be that guy. Um, and get Matt Collins off my screen. Just get him off my screen. I want him out of here. Him and Stevenson can be on the next flight out of New England, and I wouldn't care whatsoever. Um, all right, must win for
I
the
got one
Pats
more
this
thing
week.
before we move on. The
Yeah,
Going back to the Josh McDaniels thing, I will offer a counterpoint that maybe it is actually better for Drake May's long-term development the way that they are calling these games.
the
This
old school
is
way.
yeah, yes,
Yeah,
that's complete guess, but maybe it's good and the struggles will pay off and he'll be like one of the only quarterbacks in the NFL that can actually run an offense.
that's true. Not as gimmicky, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
I do. I
exactly.
That's a good counterpoint. That does make me feel better. They need to run the ball. It makes Drake's May's life easier. It's going to make the offensive line's life easier. Um, they need to run the football, and they don't need to do it with Stevenson. All right, I think we can. I said my piece. I think we can move on
Yeah.
from the Pats. What
Uh,
games
I
didn't
got
we really
one
talk about?
more.
All right.
I think this is the last one, unless I'm forgetting one. Oh, the Saints Cardinals we didn't talk about. Um, they played. The uniforms looked terrible.
Yeah,
One
the
of the
Saints
ones where
uniforms should
why the
never.
Saints wear those. Yeah,
I don't know why I
horrible.
should never wear them again. I like the Cardinals
Um,
one. The white one. The white
yeah,
uniforms are nice.
yeah,
Um, Rattler didn't look terrible. He threw it 46
yeah,
times. He should not have thrown it 46 times. Another quarterback thrown it 40 plus
yeah.
times. But anyways, that's enough of that game.
My last one is Caleb still stinks.
Yeah, I think we should end
Like
there.
they
I had one
ran
with at the bit.
one drive that was just amazing, and like you could feel it in the stadium. That was like, holy crap! Like, he's been revived. Ben Johnson is the man. Like, look at this. And then they scored. I guess they scored 17 points the rest of the game, but it was really 10 because they had the garbage time touchdown.
Yep.
And he just like some of those throws, the one 4th and 3 play that was just like 10 yards away from the receiver and like just the running around that he does in the pocket. I saw somebody say that like his scrambling is so hard to watch because it's not like Lamar where he's like just super shifty and can get out of anything. He's not like Mahomes where he just kind of floats around and avoids guys, but it looks like he's like running around blindfolded with no hands. I mean, he's just like running around for the sake of running around. And that was kind of the knock on him in college was the hero ball,
Yeah.
right? He like always tries to make the hero play. And like that's a good defense. Again, tough matchup up front. Like they know how to get to the quarterback, but yeah, he just there's some off with him where it's like you see a couple plays and he looks like he could be that guy, like that top 5 quarterback, and then the rest of the game it's just not pretty.
I want to your point of a tough defense, tough matchup. I think that goes out the window when the other quarterback completely shits their pants. Uh, like in the first half. I mean, the other quarterback,
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy, he ended up having a career, like, I mean, of course, career game. It's his only career game, but like a historic debut for the NFL in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, his
Yep.
first 3 quarters, he looked awful. It looked like he couldn't complete a
Horrible.
pass, and it looked like the moment was too big for him. It looked like all like the Arch Manning stuff that we saw in that Ohio State
Yeah.
Texas game, and then he took they snatched the momentum from the Bears just
Hmm.
completely in the start of that fourth quarter. And I mean, he had a pick six to a practice squad player. Um, that
Bad too.
Yeah, it was a really bad pick six. It looked like it was going to be a horrific day for Justin Jefferson fantasy members, uh, fantasy owners, and then just Caleb Williams could not capitalize on it once. Their run game was not great,
So
not great
bad.
at all.
I'm
Their
shocked that
offense,
they didn't go get another running back. I guess they drafted a guy, but like I think Ben Johnson with what he did in Detroit was just like, yeah, I'll be the eighth guy that tries to get something out of DeAndre Swift.
and not only the eighth guy, but also the sixth guy. Like I'm the sixth guy, and then now the eighth guy who wants to get something out of DeAndre Swift. Like he knew he's been with him before.
It's true. It's
It's
true.
and I mean, they had the game. I mean, they ran it 17 times. God, I'm just like jealous of all these even ass running backs who get 17 carries because my second round pick doesn't get
17 carries is
shit.
not a lot for how awful the Vikings offense was for 3 whole quarters, though.
That's true. The the self sacks. I mean, I guess it was only really one, maybe two with Caleb Williams. Where the one where he stepped out of bounds, it was like, oh, we're doing this again. Like, come on. And a lot of the motions, I thought it wasn't like I thought that shit's not on him, but I was listening today and it's like that's actually all on him. He's calling the motions poorly and it's not his fault if the wide receiver, steps forward, but if he motions too late, that's still a false start. Or he
Mhm.
motions and then tells him to go back, which he did a couple times. And it's so I thought it was like a lot of that was on the O line, and some of it, the couple of them were. But this is funny. If he didn't have the first half, and JJ McCarthy didn't have the first half, and it ended 27-24. I think everyone would look around and be like, all right, like solid game from Caleb Williams. Like
Mhm.
um he did what he needed to do, but he didn't get it. He didn't do enough. Um, but the fact that they were up 17-6. And then they went up what? They went that was 20 the pick 6 was 27 to or 24 to 6. No,
No, it was
no, 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 no.
17-6,
Sorry,
and
sorry,
the
sorry.
Vikings went up
17-6. Yeah,
for 2
17-6 in the third
straight
quarter.
to go
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2017.
I'm getting looking at the box score, I did math wrong. And even though I watched it with my eyes and I saw the 17-6 in the third quarter. Um but yeah, and then the Bears, it looked like so we have the ruling. It was everyone at the end of the game was like, did they try to kick it out of bounds and they couldn't, or was it a bad coaching mistake? They tried to kick it out of bounds. Carlos Santos just could not make it out of bounds. The that was a terrible mistake. If it was a touchback, it would have been at the 35-yard line. They would have also had the 2-minute warning and then one timeout and try to do what the Bills did on Sunday Night Football, but completely botched it. They ran it out of the end zone past the 2-minute warning, so they don't get that stoppage, and then the game's over. So, I mean, great game by the Vikings. And the way to stick it in there, everyone was dogging JJ McCarthy on Twitter. It was the JJ McCarthy funeral in the first half. And
Yeah.
and then it turned into Caleb Williams funeral. So they really flipped the script. I do like this is the I think this has to be the biggest week one. Ben Johnson's offense is tough.
Mhm.
He didn't look great. He kind of soiled the game, but let's uh let's see what he still has in him. I wish
Yeah.
he he has the he has an arrogant face. And I think that's
Ben Johnson?
probably no, Caleb Williams.
Oh, yeah.
And I
I
think
think Ben
that
Johnson does too. I wanna punch both of them.
he does Ben Johnson does kind of have an arrogant face. He's also like the first NIL quarterback. Seemed like he got
Mhm.
everything at USC. He got coddled by the Bears last year. I root for Caleb Williams. I want him to be good because we just need more quarterbacks that are good in the NFL.
Mhm.
And he had the skill set going into college where he could really be a difference maker in the NFL. Um, but it hasn't looked great. And it reared an ugly head on Monday night being the standalone game.
Yeah. I agree, it's a total overreaction. But, like, check
Yes.
back in week 9, and we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, and if it's
Um,
still these problems, then it's gonna be a bigger conversation than what we just had. So I like that though. Check back in week 9.
I will add one more overreaction to this game. What if JJ McCarthy is just Tom Brady? The Michigan thing, and just not like he's not
Never
that
losing.
talented.
No, he just never loses.
Like it seemed like, did you see the clip from the locker room? And it's like he just never like let it get to him. Like after every time he screwed up, he was like encouraging his teammates, like, "Yeah, we got this. We're fine." And then
He
they
does
were.
when you look at him on the sidelines, it's not even Tom. It's like I wouldn't even say it's Tom Brady-esque, but it's such the guy that you wanna die for on the football field.
Mhm.
There was a video of him, I think they're kicking their second field goal, that 60 it was a 59-yarder by,
Mm.
by Reich or whatever Reichard or whatever his name is, and he's jumping up and down. He just threw like,
Mhm.
he's jumping up and down, he hasn't played good all game, and yet there he is, like, tapping his teammates on the shoulder, and that's the thing you don't see from Caleb Williams. He scores his touchdown,
Yeah, no.
he takes a picture with, he not takes a picture, but he poses with Zaccheaus, and then he sits on the bench alone. Um,
Yeah.
and JJ
And he gets
McCarthy
upset when they give up touchdowns.
yeah. So it's like JJ McCarthy's just out there as, like, ultimate guy on the sidelines, and maybe and those are the intangibles that
Nice guy.
what'd you say?
He said he's a guy's guy.
He is a guy's guy. Yeah, and I think those intangibles, those are what the talent is what gets you in the NFL, and the intangibles like that is what has you stay in the
Mhm.
NFL. And so I think we're gonna have a long career from JJ McCarthy. Um, I don't know if he's gonna be the ultimate winner like he has been in every other stop, but if you look at that and you just think, what's gonna stop him this time?
Yep. That was
I
some
like that.
great NFL media content there. The
What I was
sideline
doing.
behavior and
Yeah.
the
Yep. Yeah, that was Get Up uh, in the morning, which we should end it there. We don't got anything else to talk about games wise, right?
Yep.
The Brian Clark comment to Peter Schrager. We didn't talk about it on our Saturday pod because it really wasn't that big of a story, but it feels like it grew over the weekend. Brian Clark,
The
you were
the
not a player.
XFL.
What a dick. That's all I gotta say. What a dick.
I've seen that before. Brian Mitchell did that to Rob Carlin. He used to work for, um, NBC Sports DC, like, on the air, and Carlin, like, walked off the set and was like, "Okay, then, like, you take the rest of the show," which
That's
was a bit of a ridiculous reaction, knowing who the guy is, like, he's kind of a baby, but it's like it's always like, "Come on."
well, it's like Peter Schrager lives and breathes football.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if anyone that you're saying it to, like, you could say it to there's 1,000 other people in this world who talk about football, including us sitting right here, who have never
Yeah, right.
played football, that you could pick on, or you could say, "You can't say this because you weren't a player." But not Peter Schrager. Like, that's the last guy that you could say that to.
And, like, one of the hardest working people
Yes.
probably in the country.
And it was
So,
such, like, a unfair situation. He's sitting there with 3 other NFL players. So
mhm.
it's like and the guy's just trying to get a takeoff, man. He's just trying to get
And
a
he held his
takeoff.
own too, which
He
I
did. He did hold his own.
respected,
Yeah, because he's a pro.
rather
He's
than,
a
like,
pro.
yeah, rather than, like, snap back with just like, "Look, I'm just offering a perspective that you might not have."
And I think
So, I
that was
thought
the
he
best
handled it
move
well.
because it really I think that riled everyone up even more, where it was like everyone has his
Mhm.
back because he didn't even need to have his own. Like, he just had like,
Yep.
he just stood for what he believed in and stood for his take and didn't, as you said, didn't overreact, didn't walk off set. Um,
Mhm.
and really a class act there. But when I saw him at
Yep.
halftime um at the Monday Night Football games talking to Scott Van Pelt, I was like, "Get out of here! Like, you don't even deserve to talk.
Yeah.
You get out of here. I don't want to see you on anything anymore."
Especially after the whole RG3 thing earlier this year, it's like, "Just get him out of my
Yeah,
face."
every time you see that guy, he's like crying or apologizing. It's like, at what point are you done? Like, at what point are you out
Yeah.
of here? All right, at this point, we're out of here. That was a packed week one, a sloppy week one, besides a couple games. Thank you all for listening. and we'll see everyone. Can you do Saturday again? I know you're moving. Might be tricky.
Saturday might be tough. I might be able to do a quick one Saturday night. No, I'm being told no.
That's all right. All right. We'll schedule it
I'll
out. We'll
make
figure it
it
out.
for sure.
And